Good morning. I am so excited to be home. There is something to be said about sleeping in your own bed and all the creature comforts that you're used to. And I got back late last night to Dallas, Texas. And here we are in Sorry, had my other screen pop up. Here we are back in Dallas, and I am so happy to be home with my cat, sleeping in my bed, and here with you all this morning. And it's nice because when I was on Pacific Standard Time, I had to get up at like 3 in the morning. So at least I could sleep in a little bit longer. So that feels good. Really excited about everything that happened this week. It was so incredible. It was this period of growth for me. I went to a conference, and it was something I had never been to and something that I didn't really know anything about. It's all traffic and conversion. It's all marketing and sales. And I never knew anything about this. I spent 15 years in corporate America. And then when I became a solopreneur, obviously I had to learn about this. And so it's been something over the years that I've begun to pick up some, but I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And there was a situation I talked about yesterday, some about me being on this boat. And so I wanted to take today and talk about when things get uncomfortable because sometimes we are going to run into situations in our life where it feels really uncomfortable. So I want to normalize this. I want to talk about what it feels like, what your brain may go through, just so that you know when it comes up and then how to work through that situation. But first and foremost, I am Jen Sugarmeyer. I am your host of Mindset in the Morning. We are here live 5 days a week at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. But because it's YouTube, you can join in whenever you would like. But the intent is really to become intentional about our mornings. We work out in the morning, we eat our breakfast, we get set for the day. Maybe you have your coffee, or maybe you're doing like me this morning and you're just drinking out of the glass. I'm having carrot juice. And yeah, I didn't even bother to pour myself a glass. So I'm just drinking right out of the container. But whatever it is, we do these things in the morning so that we set our day right. Maybe it's meditating, maybe it's praying, whatever. But how much are we doing for our mind? And when I mean meditating, that might be clearing our mind, but what are we doing in terms of challenging ourselves, thinking about where we want to be for the day, thinking about the tools in our mind and how we're going to face the day when things come up? Are we going through these situations in our head? And, the truth is that mental maintenance is not something that people are used to doing. It's just not. But just like any muscle, like your body is a muscle, your brain is a muscle, and you have to work it out. And so here we talk about different topics so that as we go out into the day, as we face the world, that we know who we want to be and we know how to do it. We have the tools, we have the resources, and we're just talking about real things. Like we're not, these aren't woo-woo things. Like we're going to talk about me being on this boat and getting a little uncomfortable the other night, and how a lot of times we want to respond when these things happen. And so these are real things that are going on. You can apply them to your life, and that's that. So if you could hit that like, hit that subscribe, because this is more than just something that I would love for you to watch one time, or something that you thought, oh yeah, that was nice, but something intentional that every single day we need to be doing. So the more that we grow this channel, the more we can start a movement of exercising our mental muscle, which I took from my mom. My mom owns that. So, mental muscle. So I was on this boat the other night, and it was 150 influencers. If you didn't have a chance to chime in yesterday, it was 150 influencers, and Pedro Adeo was there, Pete Vargas, who else? I don't know. There were a whole bunch of other people. As I started to scroll through their pages, it was like a lot of the people on YouTube that had the blue dots next to them, those people. Like there was this Hall of Famer, football champion, national championship. And anyway, like just tons of who's who. And I don't really know anybody. So when the champion guy, he came and he saw me walking, he came eye level to me, and he was like, hey, my name is Satima, I think his name was. And I said, what was your name? Like, I don't know who any of these people are. But anyway, so I get invited to this boat. And the only reason I got invited to this boat is because I signed up for a coaching program. So there was me and a handful of other people that had signed up for this coaching program that were not influencers. And we got invited to the boat. So it was an honor to be there. But certainly it wasn't that we were invited because of our, what impact we're doing in the world, or, because of something that we've done or the business we own. It was literally, we signed up for a package. So I wasn't prepared to go on this trip. In fact, I have been so incredibly busy in my life. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you're just so busy that it's just one foot in front of the other, and you can't start thinking too far in advance, because otherwise you'll miss out on right now. And truthfully, we should be here present in the moment. But what I'm saying is that it's really difficult for me to start thinking about much further out. I can plan a little bit, but I can't think too much about, like, I have to MC this weekend. I haven't fully been able to step into that and get into my headspace because I've been so focused on what I'm doing now. So that's what I'm talking about, like prepping for some of these things in advance, because I've just got to worry about getting through the next 5 minutes kind of thing. So that's where I'm at in my life. So I didn't anticipate being on this boat. I don't know anybody that's at this at the conference. I don't know, when they say influencers, who the heck they're talking about. Like, I don't know what it even means. Part of the questionnaire was, who are the 5 influencers you want to meet? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know people in Hollywood. I don't know influencers. I don't know anybody. Anyway, so I get on this boat, and there was a woman that I was standing in line with, and she was also in the same boat as me. We were getting on the boat. It was a yacht. It was very nice. And she had also purchased a package, and I had seen her around the conference, and she and I started talking, and there was that. And I told myself, Jen, like, don't talk to her the whole time. Not that she's not wonderful and I wouldn't want to spend my whole time with her, but I could tell that I was more in a comfort zone with her. I could feel that, like, no problem talking to her. I needed to get out of my comfort zone, and I needed to go make some relationships with people, because you never know what things are going to happen. And so I went ahead and we talked for a little while, and then I kind of broke off and did my own thing. And I realized, as I broke off and I was doing my own thing, that I was starting to feel a little uncomfortable. I'm walking around this boat, and where do I just insert myself? What do I say? It's kind of like on these dating apps, or the first date you go on, or whatever. I mean, it's just, or just any networking situation where you don't know anybody. And I'm walking around, and it was more, I don't normally have an issue just walking up to people and saying, hey, but I believe that something in my mind said, wow, these people are really accomplished. These people are really important. And these people are, I don't want to say better than me, but I shouldn't just interrupt their conversation or just slide up in here and introduce myself. And I think there was some of that was happening within me. And so as I was going through and, going just casually checking out the boat. Oh yeah, I'll go check out the front, go check out the back. Oh, that person looks like somebody I could talk to. But like, there were massive people just hanging out, and like and I was avoiding these big groups, and, going up to the front where there are less people and start chatting with a few people up there and all that, which is very unusual for me, because I don't mind being in the middle of everything. And I don't mind just inserting myself into a conversation and, hey, how are you? What do you do? And all of a sudden I felt literally, like I said yesterday, like a fish out of water. And I'm going into this level of detail with you because I want you to hear a very real story that I believe any of us can relate to. Because sometimes we have these situations that come up in our life, and they feel super uncomfortable and awkward. And what happens in our brain? Like, what's the first thing that we want to do? Get me out of here. like, get me out of here. I want to be somewhere that I'm comfortable. I don't want to be in a situation where I don't feel like I can walk up to people, where I'm like, do I belong here? Is this, am I in the right space? Do I tell people like, hey, I just purchased a package? Or do I try to pretend like I'm somebody I'm not? Which that didn't ever go through my head. But But, when we are uncomfortable, our brain wants to keep us safe. Our brain that is what it's designed to do. And our brains don't know what's in the forward. It only knows what it knows. So if you're in a new situation, whatever that new situation is, it may even be a better situation for you. Your brain may default to what it knows. And hey, I don't know this new uncomfortable world, but I know what it looks like back there. And we survived that. So let's just go back there, which is why it can be so hard for, people that, are addicts or people that are in abusive relationships. Like, well, why do you keep going back? Why does that happen? And it's because that's what our brain knows. And our brains are very powerful. They're connected to our spinal cord, and the spinal cord is telling us what to do with our bodies. And so if our brain's like, no, no, don't do that, that's scary, it's telling our body to go do something about that fear to get rid of the fear. Does that make sense? So that is internally what is happening within your body. And so when you get into these situations, yes, you may want to turn around and run the other direction because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to feel uncomfortable. I can't tell you how good it felt to be in my bed last night. I'm like, yay, my bed. I mean, I don't mind sleeping in a hotel room, but there's something about my bed. There's something about waking up to my cat. There's something, about sitting here in this chair versus sitting in a hotel chair. I've got my lights, I've got just all those things that feels comfortable. That's what I know. And so when you are in these situations, and maybe it's at work and they have you doing something new, or maybe it's at a networking event, or maybe you've just moved and, you're meeting new people, or you're putting yourself out there to start dating again, or there's a million things that you could do that are new for you. And it very well may feel uncomfortable. First thing to do is recognize those signs. As soon as I got off the boat that evening, and I don't, I wasn't crouching in the corner. I positioned myself in the middle of the room. I said, be smart about this, put yourself around people that, where, to get seen and have conversations and everything. But I could feel inside of me that there was something that was different. And so as much as I tried to keep it cool here, there was something that was happening in here and I could feel it. And as soon as I got off that boat, I said, okay, so first of all, there was nowhere for me to run. I mean, I could have hidden from everybody, like gone and hid in the bathroom or something like that, but I didn't do that. But there was really nowhere for me to go because we were out in the middle of the water. But even if there was, like, it was first acknowledge. So if you're in a situation and let's say you can run from it, acknowledge that as you are growing, that discomfort is going to come with that. It just is. Like for me to get to 6'1", I mean, I was almost like 6 foot when I was 14 years old. I think I was 5'11", maybe 5'11", 6 feet when I was 14 years old. That was a lot of growth. And as I was going through that growth, it hurt. I remember massaging my legs and it just felt like my legs were getting, kind of ripped and, twisted and everything. And it hurt. But the only way to get taller was to go through that level of discomfort, that level of pain. So when we have this awareness about us, oh, I feel uncomfortable, instead of immediately turning and running, which is what our brains want to tell us to do, is catch it, catch that feeling. Say, okay, I acknowledge that something is happening here. And you can tell yourself, okay, I'm going through a level of growth. Every level of growth. There was something, I think it was, what's his name? Bet David. I can't remember. Bet David, whatever his name is. I was watching something of his the other day, and he was talking about how even billionaires go through imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome means, am I good enough to be here? Am I smart enough? And that's what was happening. My imposter was coming out. I have no problem talking to anybody. None. For some reason, I'm in this room with these multi millionaires, tons of them. They're throwing money around. And all of a sudden, my imposter comes out like, am I good enough to be here? And so I have to I faced that feeling and I said, okay, I know that I'm going through some level of discomfort. It's not going to do me any good to go hide in a bathroom. That didn't cross my mind, but let's say it did. It's not going to do me any good to just go hide. The only way for me to grow is to sit here and go through it. That's the only way. So it's getting familiar. It's recognizing those feelings and start to think about, and maybe, I couldn't really do this in the moment. I wasn't at the table, what are my limiting beliefs? I was doing a little bit of mindset work, but I didn't do all my mindset work there because I needed to be present in the situation as well and make the best of it. Which it was a really great time. And I had some great conversations with people, made some connections, and that was good. But as I got off the boat, I started to think about what were the limiting beliefs. Do I believe that I'm not worthy enough to be around people that are, their bank accounts look a certain amount? I mean, does that make me different than any of these people? Oh, it just means my bank account doesn't look the same. Does that make them better than me? Yeah. So I had to go through these, and the answer is no. I said, yeah, like I was, but no, nobody is better than me. And nobody, just because you have money, that doesn't make you more successful than me. And, I mean, there's a million reasons why I could talk myself out of this, but I had to sit and assess, what are my beliefs that are holding me back? Because remember, your beliefs dictate your experience. So if you are feeling uncomfortable in a situation, what are the beliefs that are making you feel that way? Do you believe you have nothing to talk about? And I think part of me, that was it. I'm like, what do I talk about with these really important people, And I don't know that that was the exact thought that came through my head, but that's what my behavior was representing. So what belief is behind how you are feeling? And when you can learn to identify your belief, then you can change your experience. I absolutely should be in these conversations with people. They just want people to people, not people to bank account or bank account to bank account or whatever. That was the new, more powerful decision that I could make. So catch yourself as these things are going on. Catch yourself. And when you have time to think and reflect, like, don't run backwards. You have to go through it. So catch yourself, stay present, and then think about, when the time is right, what are the limiting beliefs? And change them. Change them. Set goals for yourself for next time. I already know that I will be seeing these people again. I already know this. So next time, what do I need to do differently? And I have thought a lot about this, and I've identified a few things, and I feel really good about that, because I really racked my brain. Why? Why would I feel this way? And I think part of it for me, honestly, is, that question of, oh, what do you do? What do you do? And that tripped me up. Oh, well, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Those were the three things I said. But I didn't get deep enough to tell people so that they could see me. I said something that was like a million feet in the air that everybody can say. Oh, yeah, I'm a teacher. Well, what does that even mean? Or, I'm a coach of what, And I didn't allow people to connect with me on a deeper level. And so I need to perfect, and I've known this is something that I have needed to do, is I need to get better at my elevator pitch. And I believe that that is where, if I improved that the conversations would go drastically different. And instead of who can I work with, how can I serve? I needed to be more in a serving mindset. So those were my lessons. So as you go through these situations, first, catch them. Don't run backwards. The only way to grow is to get through them. So get through them. Look at your limiting beliefs, turn them around. Say, okay, what is a more powerful decision? and then get back out there and try it again. That's the only way. And every single time it's going to get a little better and a little better and a little better, but you got to go through it. So I hope that helped you today. Go out to Higher in Heels at higherandheels.com. That is the company that sponsors Mindset in the Morning. So go to higherandheels.com and send me a message or drop a note in the comment of just what your thoughts are, or if there's something you want to talk about that's more personal, send me an email. Would love to do some coaching on the air, or if there's a topic that you want to dig into deeper, let me know. But I would love to hear from you. So if you've not already hit that like, hit that subscribe, please do so now. This is a movement. It's more than just getting intentional about one area of our life, but in all areas of our life. And so I want you to go out and I want you to be the most incredible person that you know that you are. And I want you to show up powerfully. And that's okay if you don't at 100% of the time. You will get there. You will get there. So today, as you go out, what are those things that are holding you back? Where is that discomfort? And start to recognize it and notice it, embrace it, learn from it, grow from it, and then go do better the next time. So that is my wish for you. I will see you back here, same time, same